Thank you very much. First of all, let me seize the opportunity to quickly thank the President and the NLC and the other labor forces that were together. Let me, first of all, thank them for the kind gesture. The President has shown again that he is a man that listens to the yearning of the people. And he has swung into action by seizing the opportunity to attend to the long-awaited minimum wage saga in our country. Well, the question is if 70,000 naira is enough, but let me educate us firstly. Minimum wage 70,000 naira does not mean that Nigerian workers are going to be paid 70,000 naira. 70,000 naira is just a limit, the variable limit for which people that are working should be paid, mostly the private sector. That depends now on your level. On your level in the civil service, the multiplication, the multiplier effect and the additive effect. So 70,000 naira minimum wage does not mean that 70,000 naira is the amount civil servants are going to earn. And it's also, the implication is also that when it comes to the private sector, everybody working within the private sector, minimally, let's say for instance, the least person in a given office should earn 70,000 naira. So that also applies to your qualifications and all of that surrounds your earning. So 70,000 naira is a step ahead of where we are coming from. If you look at the Nigerian content, 70,000 from 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira is almost like 113 or 110% increment, which to me, government have started the process. The most important thing is the yearnings of Nigerians have been heard and a difference has happened. We've seen in so many quarters people trying to compare it with other developed countries, comparing it to the international currencies like the dollar. Some people have argued in several quarters that, okay, during the Jonathan period, it was about $100 and something when the increment came. It fell down to $80 something, and today perhaps it's about 30 something. So this should be an indicator to the Nigerian content that our money, our local currency is beginning to lose value. This analysis, I like it, is apt because people, it should be an indicator, rather economic indicator that we need to do more. Nigeria need to produce more. Now, the minimum wage has been approved and is standardized now. My advice, I want to talk further into your questions, is that there should be measures that will control inflation. Don't forget, once we increase income in the country, producers begin to, the tendency that producers begin to increase their prices for commodity and services. So I think government now owes us another duty to checkmate price, where I'm seriously advocating for price mechanism. I think in Nigeria, of course, the federal government is not totally involved in production. So they could apply the mix price control mechanism. We need to apply those mechanisms, the price control mechanism, so that we can assist the minimum wage that has been pegged to succeed. Else, goods and prices, price of goods and services will increase, and the minimum wage will amount to nothing again. Secondly, I also want to appreciate quickly, before you take me on the next listing, I want to appreciate the windows they've given to the international circle, where they have about 150 days waiver for importations. But my fear is government have not really deliberated on or given clear instances. What are the commodities, what are the goods that will be imported within this set period, so that it will cushion the effect of what is happening. Just yesterday again, we had the House of Representatives talk about all of this. So I think the most important thing here is that people are beginning to be aware of the local issues we're having in our society and addressing it. So I think to me, the 70,000, although Nigerians expected a whole lot from this committee, but again, the president and the NLC, let me also correct, it's not the president that took the decision. They have come together to see where a possible agreement could come up, where they cannot bridge it. I think so it's a step forward for democracy and Nigeria. I don't think there's any issue of taking what? It was a consensus. The president didn't sit on his own to come up with this amount. It was an hour, so many hours of deliberation. This is an agreement between the labor section and federal government. They've come to an agreement. So it's not as if labor will now be mandated to take it to their whatever caucus or to decide. This is what has been decided. And I think labor, after the meeting, you saw where they were hailing, and they came out very happily. And I think they've also looked at the coins, the dots, the curtains, and all of that, all these issues, and have decided that, well, this is where for now. Don't forget, minimum wage was 70,000 naira. There are multipliers. Somebody level 13, level 12, different levels in the civil service will earn a multiplier of 7,000 naira. So I think everything is put together, and they've come up with 70,000 naira. So Nigerians, even though the expectation was high, I think is somewhere to leap from. Well, thank you very much for that question. Local government autonomy. The Supreme Court had given justice to the common man again. Don't forget, they say that the judiciary is the common hope of the hope of the common man, and they've actually given us that confidence again. Don't forget the core crop of democracy is for the people. So we elect people. And once the local content, the local people are not feeling the essence of democracy, democracy is not thriving. For the first time, the Supreme Court are taking the dividends of democracy to the local people, to the people that matters, to the people that come out to defend the tendencies of democracy. That is what the Supreme Court have done. Development, growth, responsibility, affordability, accountability have been restored to the local government people in Nigeria. Now, let us see what are the effects, good effects of the local government autonomy. Local government legislators will begin to sit down and legislate for the immediate needs and wants of the local people within their constituency. What in time past we experience is a given governor will just take up projects of his within his whims and caprices, and then just execute them, and it becomes a state project. It becomes a local government project. Whereas we know that the local governments have local governments in every state have their peculiar problems and wants they want to satisfy. So the autonomy had actually directed or redirected governance to satisfy local content. That is the key. Number two, dignity in job, dignity in carrying out local functions. Now, we all know the local government services have been very dormant because there's actually nothing to do. The legislators do not even sit. What are they going to sit to do? The executive chairman just goes to the governor, collect the local government listing, pay salaries, and then they do whatever they want to do with the rest of the money. Now, we will see more of local government civil servants go to work because there is stimulation. There's going to be stimulation. Projects will be carried out. Most times, let us even play that. What should a governor be doing in commissioning boreholes? Boreholes, essential little services, are supposed to be meant for local government. But because they usurp the powers of the financial powers and autonomy of the local government, they are the people going to commission borehole, school, primary school. Those are within the bylaw axis of governance. So, local government autonomy is huge. However, it also depends, and the essence also depends on the credibility and sincerity of the Nigerian politician. Now, don't forget that it also means accountability, meaning that local government chairmen will also be held responsible for how they spend public and local funds, what project they are carrying out. You see, a local government chairman within 3 years doing one project alone, sometimes no project, because his capacity is being directed by the state government. So today, once this is being passed into full law and the execution is proper, we will now begin to see and hold local government and councillors accountable because their funds will rightly be in their hands, and everybody close to local development will begin to see tangibly what the local government chairmen and councillors have been doing. It will be quite exciting if we see local government chairmen performing to the extent that they become state governors, because if you could hold your locality, the constituency you govern, that small locality, and you can improve the standard of living within that locality, the implication means that you can also hold the full states together. So in time past, we've not seen where local government chairmen transit into becoming governors and all of that. So this is what the Supreme Court has done for Nigerians, and we are very glad. We are watching. Thank God for the essence of the advent of technology. It's not these days that you will say immediately you do anything that is contrary to law or contrary to the provision of what you are expected to do. The social media carries it. The main media stream carries it. It is no more you've done this. When your project, if you're, for instance, you're giving the local government chairman, you're giving 1 billion, and you said you've used 600 million or 400 million, as the case may be, for a capital project, they will tell for itself. If they are not telling, Nigerian youths will be ready to follow you up on social media, castigate you, and bring you to the books. So I think local government autonomy is one very essential benefit of our democracy, and we give kudos to the Supreme Court, and I think it's a way forward from where we are to a better Nigeria. I don't want to describe it as whittling down their powers. They do not even have such powers. That is to start with. So if we begin to give them credit of what they don't have, it will seemingly be like the Supreme Court was deliberate to remove strength for them. However, in time past, it has emboldened their illegalities within their states. They don't have any power over the local government, aside from supervision. Of course, the governor will have his developmental strides. The local government chairman will key into it. If it affects it, that's what the immediate needs of his people. That is why it's good to expand. They said the essence of governance is to provide shelter, food, and security for its people. So there is no local government in Nigeria that you go to that do not need all of these. So when the governor projects his activities or project for a fiscal year, the chairman will key into it and also look at the immediate needs amongst all of this that each locality needs. So I think politically, our politicians will always find their way. It is true. Now that the autonomy is given to the local government or the local the chairman, we will begin to experience, watch out, in my anticipation or in my permutation, we're going to see an effective doom in the electoral system where governors will begin to, even though it is happening now, governors will rather begin to concentrate on election where they will put in their stooges and illegally siphon the local government funds. But why it will not be possible is, like I earlier on said, it will not work, because if you're a local government chairman and in 3 years you've not done anything, in fact, I want to recommend that both the EFCC, ICPC should have their stations in local government, so that the way they apprehend governors after their tenure, they could also apprehend local government chairmen, because you must be accountable. What will happen politically, driving to your question, is politicians will begin to now spare up their stooges during election. The case was the reverse. They wait, anybody that wins, no problem. Your fund comes to them, then they negotiate your funding with you, right? But this time around, what will happen is that they will begin to insist on their stooges to win elections. But the adverse or disadvantage of that will be if the ICPC, the EFCCs, the people that pursue corruption will be also placed vis-a-vis the local government areas, so that when you're airing, and I don't know if a local government chairman, they also have autonomy, but if they don't have, it will be apprehended. And you will see the more participation, local-based participation on information given. If any chairman out of the 774 chairman local government and the FCT is doing well, you will see it on the social media front and main media front. If they're not also doing well, instantly you will see those reports. So politics is going to be more interesting as the autonomy floats on. There's nothing much to tell Nigerian youths. We are aware, we are participating, we are part of it. Let me tell you, all the reforms, taken from subsidy removal to autonomy, to all the reforms this government have recorded, were stimulated basically, mostly, by Nigerian youths. It's not those days that we are back of political participation and the process. Nigerian youths are seriously involved in the process now. Every report you see, every agitation you see is being carried out by the Nigerian youths. And I thank God that the political awareness is so enlarged that we are not giving space on the social media front. You could see instances where humiliation is reduced. Humiliation by military people, humiliation by politicians have reduced drastically. Gone are those days you go and slap somebody because you're a senator, or you are passing with a convoy, you humiliate people, or at the hold up, you beat traffic light. No, it won't happen again. Youth will raise their camera on you and ensure that the social media platform captures you well. Don't forget, social media platform is not restricted. And that was why when they wanted to prohibit certain provisions on social media, we fought against it, because it's a clear and fastest medium to bring out the deficiency, also the good works of every leader. So the question does not even come. Nigerian youths are very, very much inspired. In fact, let me shock you. We have about 65% of Nigerians in the legislation, both state legislation and national legislation. Today, in the House of Representatives, we have the youth caucus. We have youths that are in the legislation, they have their caucus. So this is what we aim for, and we are getting it correctly. So Nigerian youths, you don't need to ask the question. In every news and crannies of the country, we are up and doing. Do something now, and you'll see the number of social media attention it will have. Well, this is a dicey one. Like I've always observed, it's political, it's social, and it's also economical. I've always derived these issues in Rivers State, in my state, into three categories. But the leading one is political, because it is the political that begets economic value. It's economic value that settles social lives. So politically, the FCT minister, everybody knows in Rivers State, has done very well, exceptionally well. In the 8 years he ruled, I was not his fan. I've never one day worked with him. In fact, I'm one of the persons that opposed him while he was coming for second tenure. I told him face to face that you should cede power to the riverine. There was that loud cry, and in his exit, it did not fit that. Let him listen to the yearnings of Rivers people. And the riverine governor emerged, which is same. And let us not forget so soon, this is a man that did all he could against political gladiators in Rivers State to bring a technocrat whom he described with all manners of words and say, with this man there will be continuity. His intention and expression was to emulate Lagos State. Lagos State, right from when the president was governor till today, there has been smooth transition that has enhanced development. There is no state that has developed as Lagos. It's not because it's magic. It's because there is this swift and cordial continuity. One governor taking over from the next governor, completing projects, carrying out his own. Even if it is one, the next person is taking on, he takes that on, the next one comes in, and that is why you've seen Lagos so expand and capable as it is today. We all want to go to Lagos to go and rest, to go and do businesses. Everything economically brilliant you can think about is happening in Lagos. So the governor, the then governor, Nyesom Wike, I'm sure, had those antecedents. He has looked at it is only when there is a positive transition. So he held on to what he described as structure that is causing the whole problem. He held on to a solid structure, build a foundation wherein they will begin to win election from stage to stage and continue those developmental strides. Let me tell you, when he came into power, how many of Rotimi Ameshi's projects did he conclude? He abandoned them. So I'm sure that is not what he wants for Rivers State. He touched the few he could touch. Agriculture, schools, he didn't touch there. So the agricultural development side of Governor Rotimi Amechi went down the drain. The agro industries, the schools, primary school and secondary schools were not developed. Because Nyesom Wike came on his own, brought his ideology, began to think that except infrastructures, the enablers, economy enablers in the states are put in place, the state will not have its thing. They opened roads, opened the economy in River State, and things began to strive. As tyrannic as you want him to think, I think he did his best, which earned him that name, Mr. Project. Now, in exiting, he had never wanted to gamble those fortunes with any of the politicians. So therefore, he brought up a technocrat that have also worked closely with him. Some may call it any name, but I think that for the enhancement of those continuity in projects and all of that. So FOBRA came now. And like Fayose yes, advised in one of his videos, there was no need. The simple message on that this thing, there is no need to fight in River State. This man has gone all odds to bring you out as governor. If he had meant bad for the state, 8 years, he didn't do those evil things for the state. Is it when he's exiting and you're having powers that he will do all those things? I don't want to believe that. But I think that what is happening in River State is being manipulated by selfish politicians, trying to make these people have look ahead, while they gain. The state is not moving. The issues are compounding every day. People are yearning from it. People are eating from it. People are serving selflessly from it, while the government is not working. The master and the boy and his boys' relationship that would have moved the state forward is being truncated, and every day one problem or the other. There's this other case of what they call the legislative angle, where they say the assembly members have defected and all that. That is pure legal issues. That should be left for the judiciary to adjudicate. So neither Wike nor FOBRA had no hand in that. The judge or the court will have to squarely define that. There's no need to use that to make mockery of the state or cause political tension or economic tension in the state. There's no need. I want to see the governor concentrate in governance. Stop demarketing the state. Bomb is being planted there. You are the number one man of the state. You are the chief security officer of the state. There was no need. You have visitors as important as the national legislators, and where they put up as number one man, you could see that it's so porous that people want to plant bomb. That shouldn't come out from its chief security officer of a state. There are so many that I wouldn't want to talk about, but I think that the issues on ground is politically motivated, and until they shred their sword and understand that, look, this is a leader. Take it anywhere you want to take it. We have leaders in the state. And Nyesom Wike is still the political leader of the state. Sim had not come out any day to denounce that. But I think that there are people around infiltrating and sponsoring these issues so that it will not end. But I am so sad that the aspirations of Wike for continuity and smooth running of governance is being truncated. And I'm sure that is the pain in his mind, wherein he is also wanting to give up. He must get back the state to ensure that these things are also put in place. I think it's sad as it is happening, but one person must give way for the state to go on very well. Well, the question is almost turning me to a prophet, which I'm not, but I can still make a focus. I see the Right Honorable Rotimi. He has done his service to the state. He was a speaker. It means he had made policies for the state. He became an executive governor, means he has done executive powers, executive jobs. He created also so many roads and bridges, so many development in the state. He went back to represent the state at national level, being Minister of Transportation, and nobody will take it from him. He was one of the best and the leading ministers during his time. And for that, he has also attempted the #1 seat in the nation, trying to become the president of the country, and that didn't work. I'm sure he has done his bid. To me, I feel he has retired from politics. Whether you come in directly or indirectly is what I don't know. Politicians are politicians, insatiable of power. But I think he has done his bid. He has been quiet in the system. Who knows, maybe this system has not favored him. maybe when the system that will favor him will come, he may spring up with his voice and begin to play politics again. Or finally, he has gone in. Now, take a look at the FCT minister very vibrantly. He has also served at the local government level. These are the days we're talking about, where a local government chairman will rise with his antecedent, good antecedent, and become governor. Yes, Wike, while he was chairman, did very well in Obiakpo, making Obiakpo one of the second best in the country. That gave him riser to become a minister. From minister, sorry, chief of staff to minister, minister to governor, governor now to another minister, however performing governorship candidate. Am I going to ask questions? Are we not seeing Abuja? Within 9 months, the developmental strides in Abuja. We can tell all and all. Look at his age. Look at his contemporaries. He's still very much alive in politics. And not only alive for common interest. Wherever he has gone, take away his rash nation, which is almost like he's a reverend man, he's an John man, he's a Niger Delta man. You may not take that away from him. Getting his T's crossed at when he wants it, getting his I's dotted as when he wants it. But when it comes to concentrating in governance, delivering the dividends of democracy, he has done it from beginning of his political career till today. He's still doing it. So we are seeing that kind of man that we want to see where things are going on wrong politically. It itches him to break through. That is who he is. So in the point of breaking through, you have to carefully study who Nyesom Wike is, what solution level to offer, so that you don't also prick on his ego, then you sail very well with him. So for Nyesom Wike, we're still seeing more prospect to represent Rivers people. We're still seeing more prospect to do enough and good down the states. He is still very much apt in producing good leadership qualities back in Rivers State and at national level. So I think he will still go forward in the political system. For the governor, it's $1 billion question. Ab initio, he was not a politician. I think he's learning the ropes through the hard ways. But that if he will continue after his 4 years is what I don't know. If he's going to step aside for politics to take his course is what I also don't know. So I think everything should happen for good for Rivers State. That's my conclusion on that. Well, this is another aspect. We've been preaching, and talking tough on diversification. The economy has depended so much on oil, and they've neglected other sector, and that neglect most basically on the agricultural aspect has brought us to where we are today. We are noticing that we have insufficient food supply. Nigeria does not have that food we think that could go around for our people. I've forgotten where it happened in the Bible. I'm not a good scholar of the Bible, but at least there's somewhere these things happen. So they are not new. We've come to discover that there is no much food in Nigeria. And even the ones that are even produced to meet up local consumption have been exported because of the exchange rate of it. Everybody wants to make profit, but before you talk of making profit, you would have been able to produce for self-sufficiency before you take it out. So the maritime insecurity is also one big problem, piracy. And this sector have been left untapped, overlooked. So it has been changed to the blue economy, which has comprises every other activities around the submarine and marine axis. I think the minister is one of the most docile ministers we have. He has to wake up. Today I was on air, I was talking about the Minister of Agriculture. We are talking about food insufficiency. Till today, we've not seen the Minister of Agriculture utter a word. If he has, I don't know. We need to see those clips. We are talking about food insecurity. We are talking about demand chasing price, price chasing demand, supply affecting demand. And in all of these datas, we've not seen the Minister of Agriculture come out to even prefer a solution. We've not heard. Everything has been shifted to the security agencies, to the president, as if there is no minister, to the legislators. they are all struggling to tackle food security and other insecurities in the country. We've not seen these ministers make tangible effort to say, this is my sector. These are things we should put in place to ensure that we have food supply, good food supply. The presidency had opened up a waiver, 150 days for people to import. The minister has not come up to say, these are the commodities we are looking at. These are the strides we are looking at to get these things done. Nothing is done. So I think both the Minister of Agriculture, not only the Minister of Blue Economy, they must come up and tell Nigerians what they are doing. That is why sometimes when my colleagues want to go on protest, I ask myself, why are we going on a generic protest? Our protest should be aimed. If we are going to squarely face somewhere that, look, we don't know what blue economy means, so we want to agitate, we are going to the Ministry of Blue Economy to ask the minister, what does his ministry stand for? What is he doing to eliminate the yearnings and sufferings of Nigerians? We have to go and ask that question. If it's agriculture, not to say that we want to do protest hardship. Which country we don't have? Everywhere there is hardship everywhere. Americans are facing their own political hardship. The owners of democracy, they are facing the thickness of democracy today. Which country is safe today? So we must be targeted. We must know what we are doing. That is why these leaders sometimes don't take us they take us for granted. You want to go and do a protest for suffering. Okay, are we not Nigerians? We as youth leaders, what solution are we going to prefer? Rally is becoming, you could do rally in appraisal. Something good has come up. Local government autonomy has been given. Here we mobilize our youth all over the country to thank the government to have heard to that. Then we pursue another cause. Insecurity. Look at the effort the military are putting in. The police have totally forgotten about insecurity. It is now the work of the military. Very ridiculous. We work with them, so we know what we are saying. So these ministers are there to help the president. Common tripartite, and what they call it, name, they called it, to sort out the issues of minimum wage. What should Nigerians earn minimally? They could not do it until the president is coming in. So at least the crop of ministers we're supposed to have in this country. So when we want to do rally, we should be targeted. You brought up the issue of the blue economy. We should march in our numbers and carry placards. We want to ask the Minister of Blue Economy question. Nobody is going to stop our rally. But when we want to do anything that will truncate the peace and stability of the nation, nobody will allow you to do that. At a time that people are so upset, angry, even the government, they are even upset. We give God the glory. We have a very mature president this time that do not talk much. He hears everything, he acts promptly to them, but never say anything. When the president wants to come, the few times he has come to talk, he has said things. There is also hardship inside. There is also hardship inside. That is why when they want to pin up to do frivolous things, we shoot it out. This is not the time to buy jets. This is not the time to embark on those frivolities. Nigerians don't need it. Why would even National Assembly give money? Thanks to them, they've brought out 50% of their income, 6 months, within 6 months, to cushion the effect. It should be directed to somewhere. Is it going to production? Is it going to assist local production? They should tell us. Are they putting it for education? So that we now know the sacrifice they made for the country to say, oh, this set of people, the 10th Assembly, House of Representatives, sacrifice 6 months of their 50% of their salaries for education. Please, federal government, tell us, what did you do with it? Except that, we've not gotten it right. I'm not here to speak for the honorable members, but it should be appreciated that one of the concerns they've shown in realizing the issues of hardship is that they are taking more, and that they recognize that they could also give a little out. So we are human beings, and they say our needs are insatiable. That is the question you're asking me. A man has said that, okay, for you to move on, let me give you 10,000 naira for transport, so that you don't use train, you use flight. And now you have come back again to say, okay, but that 10,000 you're giving me, you still have 30,000. Can I have more 20 so that I can rent the train? That is the question you're asking me. We shouldn't be doing all this kind of a thing. Don't forget, these legislators, they are responsible for their constituency. The way I and you have been called every day back home for help is the same way they have thousands of people. They pay school fees, they pay house rent, they do a whole lot of these things for other people in their constituency. So if they are tampering with their income, their personal income, which is salary, that's supposed to be meant for their family, they are sacrificing 50% of it to solve the Nigerian problem. We should clap hands for them, see the elasticity of that 6 months, what happens. Our problem should be, we hope that it is not robbing Peter to pay Paul. Maybe they are giving that percentage out, in another angle they are taking it. It should be directed. The House of Representative leadership should tell us that this amount of sacrifice, this is the volume. It is going to amount to 1 trillion. It's going to amount to 2 trillion. Let Nigerians have that in our minds. And then also say that this amount of money will be directed into helping local production. I don't want us to be helping finished goods, which will help the process of production, which will stimulate the project. Federal government should start also having ugu farm, tomato farm, pepper farm, in collaboration with states, in collaboration with organizations. In that way, they are partners. In that way, when product comes out, we negotiate how to sell it, so that it does not affect the people. We see countries going to all of this, and that's where we want us to go. Like the way countries are in football. Football is business for a country, and we see Nigeria sponsor football. Now we have food insecurity. The federal government should also now sponsor this sector so that we can get it right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Comrade Duke, for granting us audience. We do appreciate this. I promise to visit you subsequently as national issues come for discussion.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having me. Our doors are always open to national issues and state issues. Thank you for having me too.